It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather, and because we get hungry from time to time, we're sponsored by Marco's Pizza. And we're going to be giving away free pizza tomorrow. Your name might be on the list if you've registered, because we put your name in a drawing. That's how this works, and we do that on Thursdays. But we also have a great deal of the week, which I'll get to in a second. But before I get there, can I just tell you, rain returns to end the week. Boo, rain. Oh, can't you tell me something more exciting, like, I don't know, snow? Oh yeah, I could do that. We could do that. You know, it was 1 year ago tomorrow. 1 year ago tomorrow. Imagine this. Maybe you weren't in town just yet, because I didn't get here till like 2 days after that, but maybe you remember the 19th of February, 2025. Do you remember what was happening at that time? Oh, the panic ensued. People, oh my goodness, had 10.2 inches of snow just on the 19th. But the snowman, the snowwomen, everybody was happy. The kids were probably thrilled. The parents were like, oh, really? Really, do I have to go through this in Virginia Beach and Norfolk? This was a year ago, starting tomorrow. So I thought I would be ahead of the curve, remind you that it was a big snow. How much snow did we get? Well, officially at the airport on the 19th, which is tomorrow, we had 10.2. 10.2. Now that is still number 8 on the record daily snowfall list. We picked up another 0.8 on the 20th, the day after. So all told, 0.8 and 10.2 equals 11. So we got 11 inches of snow. Do you remember where you were? I'm sure you do. Some of you are like, why can't we get that now? Or we hit 69 degrees today. Kind of hard to do that today. But we did begin to see some rain coming into the picture, so I'll get back to that too. But some of you might have been curious. How do you get 11 inches of snow? Because sometimes you get more flakes from your snow. You get more bang for your buck. And what I'm talking about is the equivalent, meaning the snow ratios. When it's colder, you get more bang for your buck. You get more flakes from your snow. The high temperature on that day, as I went back and looked, the high was 36 degrees, right? And the low temperature was 25. So if you got 10.2 inches of snow and it was falling in that range, I would call that typically a wet snow. Although it might be borderline, because here's 25 degrees, you might have gotten a little bit more. And if you look at the actual amount of snow or water equivalent that fell on that day, it was a total of 0.79. I'm counting the 20th as well. So we had picked up 0.75 on that 19th, and we had 0.04 on the 20th. So that totals up as 0.79. So we actually got 11 inches of snow on that 2-day period out of a possible 0.79. So if you did a 10 to 1, that'd be 7.9 inches of snow. So if you really want to get into the semantics, into the weeds, some of you are like, well, at least we got some snow, right? Now, what are we dealing with? Well, we're dealing with some warmth. That's a win. For those of you that are on Team Spring, I said yesterday, hard days, warm days are hard to find. You got to go back to the 9th to 10th. We hit 69 degrees today. We blew past what we had over a month ago. I think it's like 40 days ago, we had a record high of 75 degrees. And I kind of highlighted that yesterday. We had 46, the low this morning. 46 was pretty mild. That occurred at 12:48 a.m., so just after midnight. And I mentioned it likely to rise in the overnight period. So 46 was the low at 12:48 a.m. But we did hit 69 degrees at 1:31 p.m. So just after 1:31 today, we hit 69 degrees. Some hit 70 plus for Edenton, and 71 in Elizabeth City. Isn't that exciting? I know you're excited. I want to get to your comments here in just a second. By the way, if you're hungry tonight, may I encourage you to save some money just by watching us on First Warning Live. We have a promo code, not a coupon, but a promo code that you can enter when you go to marcos.com. It's our call letters for TV land, WTKR. My first name, which is David. You put that in there and you'll get about half off, because with tax, it's usually twice this price. But $5 for a Pizzoli is fantastic. And if you try the pepperoni and sausage, you'll know that is my personal favorite, but you may prefer just the pepperoni. You may prefer just the chicken bacon ranch or the buffalo chicken. And I do want to tell you that we're going to be giving away free pizza tomorrow. These are the 6 locations that will issue those free pizzas. These are also the same 6 locations that will give you $5 on your Pozzoli if you go to their webpage, marcos.com. Now, there are many, many Marcos around the country, in Hampton Roads and Tidewater, but these are the special 6 that are participating in the contest. If you go to WTKR.com/Marcos, you sign up, your name will likely be put into the drawing. And if it's a complete filled out, you have to put your address, your zip code, so we know where to mail you the certificate. But the good news is that's where things are as far as the free pizza. And we're going to be doing that again tomorrow for the winners. Now, if you haven't noticed, the pizza for a year certificate looks like this. If it should come to your doorstep, it would come through U.S. Post Office. You'll get basically one large, one topping pizza every month for a year, and you can use this as a punch card, take you right through December of 2026 and into January of 2027, and your name might be found in the upper left-hand corner. So very happy to have Marcos as a sponsor. The Pozzoli is fantastic. It's very filling. Usually I get it for lunch, but you can have it for dinner. You can have it anytime you're hungry. Go to marcos.com to order it. Pepperoni Magnifico is also on the menu if you're hungry for pizza anytime that they are open. They also deliver. So let me just get back to the weather, because one of the things I wanted to hear from you is, did you enjoy 69 degrees? Or was the fact that it was gusty? By the way, our peak wind gust, do you remember what it was? Wait for it. 35 miles per hour. Wait a minute, that's what you said yesterday. I mean, who forecasts miles per hour to the mile per hour? I'll try it. I like to stick my neck out and gust around 35. We had 35 gusts in Norfolk. Might have been less for you, might have been more for other locations and neighborhoods, but that's where we were at Norfolk International today. 70s are still living in Little Rock, San Antonio, Houston, and with that southwesterly wind, we're not going to cool much tonight. Tomorrow is going to be what I like to call an upside down day, where the high temperature comes either around midnight or shortly thereafter, because we're going to get a little bit cooler as the afternoon wears on tomorrow. So there's the 69, was nowhere near the record set back during the Carter administration. That was 1976. But it was 81 on this date that long ago. But this today marks the warmest day of February so far. So 69, you don't even find a 60 in the first 18 days of this month, or first 17, but we did it today, and that was, in fact, the warmest we've had so far this year. Just checking in with you, I want to say hi to you. I got some other notes from David Marshall from last night. He said he's ready for spring. David, I am too. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for maybe a smooth landing. But sometimes, as you saw from those pictures from really the data from the snow of last year, sometimes it can surprise people where weather can suddenly raise its ugly head. And we're going to talk about some fantasy snow in the modeling, and when I get there down the road here. So we're not done with the discussion of snow, and we're certainly not done with the cold air. There will be opportunities for that too going down the road. All right, so there's the almanac or the February high temperatures. Here's the radar right now. You said it was raining at the end of the week. You said we'd have something to zoom in on. There it is. This is a current look. If you're watching me live, you could tell me, is it 7:48? I think it is. There's the timestamp. So it's raining right now at the Exmoor Diner. It is probably raining in Chincoteague. And we probably have some light rain showers around Cape Charles, Eastville, or Nancock. I could go on. Maybe even a few showers around Tangier Island. But Christchurch might be getting a few showers. Gloucester might be getting a few showers. Can we zoom in on Gloucester, please? I can't see. There it is. There it is. Center screen. Center right there down the middle. There's Gloucester. There's some showers there. It's no thunder, but it's raining in Gwynns Island around Matthews County, New Point, Seaford's getting some rain, Williamsburg, you're getting some rain, but it seems to taper off further north of Williamsburg. Kind of curious to know what you were seeing. Now, if I were to move this a little bit further southwest, I can clearly see that we've got some rain around Stony Creek, some showers now around Emporia. They're moved again, so we're getting some new data just north of Franklin at this hour. And it looks like it's raining around Newport News right now, and some showers on the west side of Carrollton and maybe around Carsley at this particular time. Would love to say hi to you if you're on the call. Let me import the latest comments, because I was looking at last night's, because sometimes people will leave a comment on the stream after the fact, meaning after I sign off, and I don't get to read it till later. But I do see, I think there's like 8 comments here. Janet is very excited as I am getting hungry. She said, those Pozzolis look yummy. Yes, indeed, Janet. Make sure you get one for $5. Normally they cost you about, I don't know, $8.95, $9.95, something like that. And with tax, it's about the half off. But good to see our friend Janet on here. I also want to say hi to Kim Thompson. She's on here. And she says, would have been a perfect day if it wasn't so cloudy. Yeah, that was the trade-off. I even heard feedback in the newsroom and in the weather center that said, yeah, I know it's 68 at the time, 68 degrees, but it doesn't feel like 68 because the sun isn't shining on you. I get that too. So it is perception-based, but the temperature was, I think, locked in for 5 straight hours. It was, I think, 68 degrees at Norfolk International from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hours. 5 hours straight. But we did manage to hit 69, I mentioned, at 1:31 this afternoon. But let's keep talking about the rain because it's raining in Norfolk right now. We've got some rain showers moving into Virginia Beach, and so it goes. So again, is this the end of the world? No. Is this what we're going to get tomorrow? Yes. And you notice that right now, most of the rain is in the 757. It's not necessarily impacting Elizabeth City, Duck, or Rodanthe, but that could change as the night wears on, as I suspect some of this will spread downward, and you may very well get some rain in Duck, Elizabeth City here in the next couple of hours. Meanwhile, the surface map of radar shows a stall boundary over Dover, over Hagerstown, and if you move further west, the warm air is still prevailing in Charlotte, in Columbia, and back toward Roanoke and beyond, so the warm air even affects our friends in Knoxville, East Tennessee, and eastern Kentucky, and northern Georgia. So here's my planner for tomorrow. If you like these things, I like to give them to you because this is how I see the day breaking down. Now, it's not an absolute for every neighborhood, but I do think our high temperatures are coming near 60 at 12 midnight. So the fact that we right now, at this very hour, and I'm looking at 7:51 p.m. Eastern time, it is still 67, right? You said it was 68 for 5 hours in a row. It was. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And then we dropped to 67 at 6, and we're still at 67 at 7. So we really haven't fallen that much, but we have the potential to drop probably close to 60 at midnight, and that's it. You know, stick a fork in it. We're not getting any warmer tomorrow after, say, midnight or 1 a.m. Because I still think as the temperatures fall, we're probably close to 57 at 6 or 7 a.m., and we've got most of the rain in the 757. You may not even see much rain tomorrow in North Carolina. I think it's going to be limited there, as it will find a home here in southeastern Virginia. But having said that, wouldn't surprise me if we end the day in the upper 40s. So the upper 40s is likely where we'll be, and the winds aren't going to be nearly as gusty. In fact, 5 to 10. You'll wake up and you don't know which direction it's going because it's so light, it's so variable, it's every which way, but consistent. And then by the afternoon, it might be more easterly at 5 to 10. So it's really not a windy day, but it is a little, it would require an umbrella to keep it close by. Temperature forecast here, again, there's the 57, and this is what time? This is 4 a.m. 4 o'clock in the morning, right? Tomorrow you get into about 6 a.m. We may have dropped a few degrees. The eastern shore is already at 48. And so it goes. I take you to about midday, and then by 3 o'clock it's back to 49. So we're kind of cooling through the day. Where there might be an exception would be inland North Carolina, where they may still be in the lower to mid 60s. But if you're anywhere near the south side, north, south, or east, southeast, I'm looking at Outer Banks, you're likely to cool gradually through the course of tomorrow as well. Here's a look at the futurecast. Gather around your phone, gather around your screen, because this is how it's likely to happen over the next couple of hours. Now, I know because my clock says it's 7:53. This is a projection in the next 7 minutes. And I see there's some rain near Franklin right now. I know it's raining around Williamsburg. So this may have initialized pretty well. It's raining in Norfolk. It's raining in the Eastern Shore. So let's just assume that this lined up pretty well. And that's probably a good way to look at any computer model. Did it have a good initial condition? Math teachers, you know calculus, you know your initial condition. You make sure that's right. And then you want to figure out what's going to happen 3 hours from now, 6 hours from now. Where are we going to be 12 hours from now? And so on. That's basically the whole kit and caboodle of weather, right? We like to be able to project and forecast. So this is where it says now, by 10 o'clock, it does move into North Carolina. Does it reach Duck? Yeah, maybe by midnight. So if you're looking at the timing of where this rain is now, where it's going to be in the next 4 hours, it's got 4 hours to get to Duck. So if you're watching this along Currituck County, there is still some hope for you. You'll get some rain before you sleep. Maybe you're in bed at midnight. Maybe it comes while you're still sleeping. But then it moves out. 5 o'clock in the morning looks like this on this graph model. Still drippy. Drippy is a good word. Drippy around, say, Norfolk, Virginia Beach at 6 a.m. And by 8 o'clock, it's still raining, but not everywhere. right? There's probably far greater, more shower activity in Virginia, and just a little drop here in parts of North Carolina. It's pretty dry in Bertie County. It's dry in Edenton and Chowan County. See what I'm saying? Most of the rain tomorrow will be like that. Most of the rain tomorrow will be just like that. Because now, at midday, where did the rain go? It's going north. It's getting more intense because it's showing multiple colors of green in Williamsburg and toward Gloucester. But boy, does it really blow up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon for moderate to heavy rain in Cape Charles, in Eastville, in Exmoor, in Matthews. You fill in the blank. So most of the rain tomorrow will be here. It doesn't say you couldn't get a shower in Edenton. You probably will. It's not to say you couldn't get a shower in Ahoskie. You probably will. But that's where the focal point's going to be on Thursday. Now, conversely, as I said yesterday, by the time we hit Saturday, I think all the rain is in North Carolina. So your Saturday will actually be improved in the 757. I still don't think we're going to get much rain at all on Saturday. I moved it to 30%, and it's really like basically Rodanthe south. It's not really that widespread. But as far as tomorrow is concerned, it's only going to intensify if this lines up to be accurate. This is the more intense rain for the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock drive. Driving home tomorrow in Exmoor along the eastern shore might have its own challenges simply because the rain is more intense in Williamsburg, Yorktown, and Matthews, just to name a few. Now, 7 o'clock tomorrow night, yeah, it looks like it's still exploding in places like Elizabeth City, Pasquotank County, and maybe back toward Franklin. So we're not out of the woods tomorrow evening. It's still raining in spots, but that's probably the soggier of the 2 days, meaning tomorrow and Friday. Friday has some showers in the forecast. You can see it clearly knocking on the door at noontime on Friday, but not nearly as intense. Where I do see more intense rain on Friday looks like it's well up toward Salisbury, Maryland. Right? It's not in our DMA. It's not in our designated market area, but it's certainly in Duck. Got some scattered showers in Chowan County, maybe back toward Elizabeth City, Currituck, Camden, and all the rest. But by 2 o'clock Friday, you can say hello dry weather. This is what's improving. So we've got a drier outlook for Friday afternoon. This is 2 o'clock. And right through the afternoon on Friday, where most of the showers look like they're off the coast. And the clouds might break. So if you can count that as a win, Friday afternoon from like 2 o'clock on, it's dried up. Sun might pop out in some spots. So Friday looks good, at least the second half of it. And then on Friday night, the clouds come back. But where's the rain on Saturday, you ask? I'm going to show you what that looks like here graphically. But I do think that most of the showers on Saturday are in North Carolina. This is a temperature that's dropping. And then we're lucky to hit 49 on Sunday, but it's soggy at times. Now, yesterday I said the trend was to keep it soggy in the morning. Now it looks like it's soggy in the afternoon as well. Don't think we're going to get a break. So these little changes, these little perturbations, little movements in the track will actually probably give us a soggy day from start to finish on Sunday. Sunday doesn't look as good as it did yesterday, but we do see more improvement on Friday. So it's a give and take, right? Give and take. So what does this look like? Well, you can clearly see the timestamp here, Saturday at 2 a.m. looks like this. Tell me where the rain is at 7 a.m. on Saturday. Maybe along the line or near Moyock? Maybe. That might be generous. But if I take you to noon on Saturday, it's like maybe Currituck, maybe Knott's Island, but definitely down toward Cape Fear and Wrightsville Beach, right? This is where the focal point is. Looks okay on Saturday. Very little rain in the 757 on Saturday. That's midday Saturday. We'll carry it one more step to 4:30 p.m. Still no rain, and even the rain that was in Currituck has moved further south. So that's it in a nutshell. I think that has some skill level to it. I don't think that Saturday is a washout by any stretch. I said that yesterday. I'm maintaining that tonight, that I think we'll get some breaks there. Let's see here. I got a note from Kim Thompson, a little follow-up. She says perfect temperature for sleeping without the heat on. Ooh, there's an idea. You know, given the fact we had such a cold winter on so many levels, saving some money on the heating of your home certainly has a lot of merit, and I think that's a good way to go. Good way to focus on it. And Taj, I think, was following on that as well. Taj Brown, let's give it up for Taj. He says windows up, breeze flows through. There you go. There you have it. Glad to have you guys here. Very thankful that you're here. Just to make a note, it's just about 8 o'clock, 7:59. Let's keep moving because I have other things I want to share with you. Our current temperature at 8 o'clock, 65 degrees. Are you kidding me? You know the normal high is 54. I know. We're like 11 degrees above normal, even at this hour. It's crazy. 65 in Poquoson. We have 62 in Hertford. Edenton is 65. Yorktown is at 65. Gloucester, you're in the 50s at 56. But our friends in Williamsburg, 64 with some showers in and around the neighborhood. By the way, Colonial Williamsburg looks like a little bit of wet streets there. Downtown Norfolk, not so bad. But the big question I want to ask you comes from our forecaster, Dara Getter, soon to be meteorologist, I think, before the end of the year, as she is continuing her studies. But she stumped me on this one. She really did. I want to give props to Dara Getter on our weather team here at WTKR. What year was the first weather satellite launched? The answer is at the bottom of your screen. I won't tell you what the answer is just yet. So I want to see if you're watching live, you can guess, is it A, 1940, B, 1950, or C, 1960? About 20 seconds, I'll give anybody who wants to take a guess. First guesser, I'll put you on the screen. I'll do my best anyway. Is it A, 1940, B, 1950, or C, 1960? What we're discussing here in our weather trivia of the night is what year was the first weather satellite launched? Let me know what you think. Give you a shout out if you are right. I got a note here from Taj. He was saying, amazing. I don't know if that's an A for amazing. Are you going 1940? He says, I see Kim's. Oh, Kim is quick. Kim says B. B, 1950 is her guess, and that was my guess too, but I was wrong. Wah, wah. I was wrong. This came by the way of our noon broadcast because we do TV here. Tyros 1 was launched April 1st, 1960. That was the first weather satellite that was launched. Isn't that amazing? I mean, really, in the big scheme of things, wasn't that long ago. Old enough to maybe surpass mom or dad or grandparents. They probably are older than 1960. And if they are, they could give it some perspective, some context. But it was, as Dara and Blaine joked about, it was on April Fool's Day. That's no joke. It was launched April 1st, 1960. So thanks for playing. I'm glad to see. Oh, and Taj got that right too. Now, this is one of my other favorite maps of the day. Just highlight, how can you hit 69 degrees and still talk about snow? Well, speaking of snow, our good buddy, the GFS model, the model that gets all the clickbait because it loves to ride over its skis. Have you ever skied? Maybe on a snowboard, but it definitely skis. If you are riding over your skis, you're way ahead of your skis, and you're not going to have a good time on the hill. So if you ever go skiing, that's the GFS model. Always ahead of the schedule, always faster than all the models, and usually more progressive and gives us worse outcomes. Usually it can be, 4 to 6 degrees, maybe 4 to 8 degrees colder, so it's naturally going to show you more snow. So it thinks that we're getting a snowstorm on this Sunday night. Crazy talk. But I will say, we're not done with the cold. I think the snow talk is a bit premature, as we've learned from this past winter. At least I hope people do in the weather community. But watch the bounce associated with this Arctic cold. I think it's more effective if I show it to you on the full screen. Focus on the purple. That's the Arctic air, and it's going to come pushing down. Now, before I hit this button, I thought I would show you today's map that shows that we're far and away not done with the cold air. Warm air rises, cold air sinks. And if you look at this very closely, this has today's timestamp. This is not a model, this is an observation. Kind of like I told you, it's 67 degrees right now at Norfolk International. That's an observation, that's not a forecast. It's like a nowcast. Well, this was taken today based on the 70 millibars, which is roughly 10 or 11 miles up, and it suggests that there is a very large area in red where it's very warm. So that warm air is going to rise, and cold air is going to push down the contouring, and I think you're going to find a big surge of cold air around about the 18th of March. And at the same time, you're going to get humid air in the Gulf, and you're going to probably have more severe weather in the Tennessee Valley, Ohio Valley, and so on. So we're not done with severe weather talk in early March. Usually you think of the severe weather season is March, April, and May, but we might be racing out of the gates if this continues to show signs. I don't think we're going to get super cold, but we do have to watch the potential for more flakes down the road. Hopefully not anything like you had a year ago tomorrow. But I do want to show you, as I go back to this map, that is the Arctic air. It looks like a rubber band. And I'll put this in motion. It goes bouncy. And if you notice, the clock is at the top here. This is the timestamp, 25th, 26th of February. It just continues to bounce down, and when it pushes down, we get a cold snap, and it snaps right back. So we're not out of the woods. Yes, you might want some consistency in your wardrobe. You might want consistency in your children's wardrobe. I don't know what to wear. I do shorts. Do I do, like today it was 69. Some of you might have been short sleeve shirt. But still, there's going to be that ever-present cold snap that might come down before too long. And I think most of what we're going to see is going to continue in the path headed toward Maine. And of course, we're in Virginia, North Carolina, may not be adversely impacted by it as some of our northern neighbors would about 30 days from now. Weather headlines: falling temps on Thursday, rainy at times. We've covered that in great detail. Scattered showers on Friday, warming back up in the mid-60s. Yay! And then the weekend outlook includes some rain showers on Saturday. That's in North Carolina rain. But I think now, to be fair, timing out Sunday's rain is going to be tricky because it's probably going to be raining in the AM and also the PM. So Sunday may very well be the day you want to stay indoors. And I say that because there are going to be those who say, hey, you know what? It's not a bad situation because I understand there's a lot going on in the 757 during this period of time, known as this weekend. Give you an example. We have a Norfolk Admirals minor league hockey game tonight, but they play again Friday and Saturday when it might be raining in your neighborhood. That's an option. Mariah the Scientist is at the Dome. Justin Willman, he's a magician, comedian guy. He's had like 1 billion views on Netflix. He's coming to the Sandler Center for the Performing Arts on Friday. Keb Mo, he's a Grammy Award-winning blues artist. He's performing Saturday night at the Sandler Center for the Performing Arts. And then there's Chicago the Musical. Some people love musicals. Chicago is coming to town at the Chrysler Hall. All that jazz, you know what I'm saying, all that jazz. But Chicago is going to be here Friday, Saturday, through the weekend, so you've got some opportunities to get out inside, away from the rain, and enjoy, help the economy, right? Get outside and enjoy some of the things that are going on inside, because this weekend might have its challenges, especially on Sunday, in terms of the rainfall. All right, having covered that, let's get to the amounts. You left out one of the biggest things. How much rain are we going to get? 24 hours from now or less. Sure, we might pick up a half inch, but you'll notice how limited it is in the North Carolina section of our viewing area. So inland North Carolina, just a tenth, Albemarle, just a tenth, and the Outer Banks, maybe a tenth. That's what's projected here on the European model. Now, if we get 0.5 here, this is Thursday at 5. Let's go to Friday at 5. Oh, we've doubled it. We went from 0.5 to 1.1, more than doubled it, but very little has been added to the virtual rain buckets of North Carolina. Eastern Shore is about over 1 inch too, projected on this. But it's interesting, if I move this through Saturday, you're going to see nothing move except the clock. Prove it. All right, there it is. There's Saturday. Went through the clock and nothing moved. That's because the rain's likely to be south of Rodanthe. It's going to be south. There's not going to be much rain on Saturday. But you throw in Sunday, and it's like ding, ding, ding. Now we're moving back up to another half inch or more in spots. The purple areas would be probably the heavier rains, and that takes you through 11 o'clock on Sunday. And some of the modeling, like I said, the notorious GFS loves to put out snow when it's probably a bit overstated. It's always ahead of its skis, and people like to post it, and people like to react, and then they come to me, and I have to say that's nonsense, or that's a bunch of hooey, and so I'm telling you, it's a bunch of hooey. So, having said that, rain is going to be the bigger story. Bigger picture, take you right through Sunday. Just zip on by. Zoop! There we go. Richmond about 1 inch. This model projects about 1.6 for Norfolk. This is beneficial rain because we haven't had much rain in the last couple of months. We're still under a moderate drought, and we get a new drought monitor tomorrow. Temperature trend, I have some down arrows Thursday, Saturday. That means the high temperature likely to come in the pre-dawn hours. But at least Friday, hey, we're back in the 60s, mid-60s before we go back to the 40s. And mid-40s on Monday itself. Chance of rain is pretty significant. It's more than just scattered. I think you're probably rainy at times tomorrow. And then Friday is scattered, and then just a 30% chance on Saturday for North Carolina before we get another system coming through on Sunday, and it exits stage right over the Atlantic by Monday. Watching the cold air spin is like trying to peg jello to the wall. It just continues to spin down, and that's what we're tracking each and every period when we look at a 7-day forecast. Clearly, it's going to dip by the time we hit Monday the 23rd. That's why I had us only a high of 44. But you can see in the contouring, it's a lot colder at that time frame, but it comes back to warmth by Wednesday of next week. I have us at 54. We'll jump another 10 degrees at a minimum, I think, by Wednesday the 25th. So does that make sense? Hopefully it does. And then, of course, there's another surge of cold air likely to drop down from Chicago. Speaking of the musical at Chrysler Hall, there's Chicago. They're going to be bringing in some cold air here, perhaps as we head into the first week of March. Let's see here. Kim says she missed the answer today. Oh, the answer today was 1960. It was C. It was C. So I think you had B, but that's okay. That's what I had guessed. Wasn't something I remember studying with great clarity when I was at NC State. But weather satellites, it's part of weather. It is always interesting to keep track of it for sure. Checking in with you, going back into the maps here as we're looking at Norfolk normal rainfall is 2.90. We're running about 2 inches below normal so far this year, and we were about 6.5 below normal for 2025. So we're about 8 inches below normal, and that's why you see so many of our communities, so many of our neighborhoods are now under level 2. There is level 3 in orange. That's the severe drought. That would include Northampton, Hertford County around Ahoskie, areas southwest of Franklin are under the severe drought, but most of us along the eastern shore, Outer Banks, could use some rain. It's a moderate drought. Having multiple sources for information is just a plug to remind you that we have our First Warning Weather app. It will keep you notified in case there are some weather notifications that need to come specifically to you. Having a NOAA weather radio is also a great tool to have as a backup when power dies off on your phone. Meanwhile, as you can see, the snow, and I do say snow, snowflakes falling across the Rockies. It's cold enough around the Denver area, mainly the Rockies, because Denver may not have nearly as much snow as their Rocky neighbors to the west, but you can see it's trying to snow around Casper, Wyoming, parts of Wyoming itself, and they're getting some streamers coming down from Canada right into Minneapolis this evening, so they've got some snow. Looks like it changes over to rain in Green Bay. And if you're tracking the snow this evening in the state capital of New York, in Albany, that's now moving away. And we've got, of course, the rain showers that I talked about here that are going to be working its way down toward Duck probably in the next 3 or 4 hours. It might not even take until midnight before some of that rain gets into Duck, North Carolina. Now, today through the 28th, this is the European model. You can see a lot of rain in green. I mentioned that it could change over to some flakes on Sunday. What does that look like? That's what this looks like here. So it's a little clipper system. It brings maybe good snow for Snowshoe, West Virginia. Pittsburgh, PA might get some snow out of this, but this is more like isolated drops and flakes if it changes over at all as it spins out of the picture. Now, as we move into the latter part of this period, toward the 28th, 26th, 28th, we got more rain coming in, and so it goes. We talked about the temperature. Won't belabor that. It's 59 right now in Knoxville. Here at 8:12, it's 64 in Columbia, 51 in D.C., and pretty chilly, all things considered, in New York City. They are at 37, much, much colder. So the warm air, you can clearly see, can be earmarked right in here, and it's nice to have this warm stretch. But they're back to the cold, chilly air in Rapid City. Now the question is, how cold is it in Canada right now? Well, I can see it's probably about -9 in Fort Severn and -6 in Lynn Lake Airport. 2 places I have no interest in visiting, but I do like to know what their temperatures are above and over the border into Canada. That's where it's 11 right now in Billings, Montana. Now, the dew point temperatures have come way up. Now that it's raining, we're a far cry from the dryness we had in the dead of winter, where we had single digits and even sub-zero dew points. Those are now a thing of the past. You can see the cold highway comes down into South Carolina, Georgia, by the time we hit the 23rd and 24th, but there'll be more warm air building in Texas, and some of that will come in, all contingent on the wind direction. A southwest wind would help us this time of year, but when it's coming from the northwest, you could say, hello, it's going to get cold again, and no consistency down the road. As far as the Climate Prediction Center, this is a supercomputer output that's still suggesting a little smidge of Florida as below normal. But everybody along the I-95 corridor mostly is near normal through the period of the 6 to 10 day outlook. That takes us through the 28th, and maybe a little bit out west near Northern California and Oregon might be below normal, but the above normal temperatures look like it's still focused in Texas. Eastern Shore forecast tomorrow, we're in the mid-40s. Again, these are daytime temperatures. You will be cascading back to that value. These are upside down temperatures tomorrow because of the passage of the front. 56 in Manio, 54 for Nag's Head, 52 for Duck. Rodanthe, 56 will be probably upper 50s for Hatteras, and Ocracoke about 57 degrees. I mentioned the severe weather threat risk likely to start early this year. When you see the yellow, that's the scattered severe storms. You're not going to see it here. We had some severe weather yesterday in these parts of the country. That's not a factor, but I believe it's tomorrow. There it is, Thursday. We got two levels, level 1 and level 2, in parts of Indiana and Illinois and Ohio, northern Kentucky, for scattered severe storms. So if you have family, if you're in the military, you've got family in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, or Carbondale, Evansville, Indiana, Bloomington, Indianapolis, Muncie, Louisville, Kentucky, or Dayton, Ohio. All of these areas have the best chance to get some scattered severe storms where they get hail the size of a George Washington quarter, or winds that are clocking in at 60 miles an hour that could take out your power and could take out some trees. Severe weather threat Friday is non-existent across the lower 48 as issued by the Storm Prediction Center. We've already covered the Futurecast. I won't belabor it, but just to kind of highlight, if you're just joining us, this is what we're expecting tonight. Should be on the doorstep of Duck before midnight tonight, and still raining in Norfolk, Virginia Beach. Even tomorrow morning when you're out the door, it's going to be drippy, a little drizzly here, a couple of showers there, but very little activity in Bertie or Hertford County, North Carolina. It's really focused northward and really intensifies in Exmoor and in, Gloucester by 3 or 4 p.m. tomorrow. So be on the lookout. The rain could come down in buckets tomorrow afternoon, especially if you're north of and around Williamsburg. So we want to keep an eye on that, and we'll leave it there. Now, as far as the showers on Saturday, I said it's going to be mainly North Carolina, and here's why. As most of the wet weather stays really essentially south of Roanoke Island for much of the afternoon on Saturday. Low temperatures tonight, kind of academic, because by the time we get to tomorrow morning, we're just going to keep falling down, generally into the 40s and 50s. High temperatures, obviously, I think going to be closer to 60 at midnight tonight here in the south side. 58 for Norfolk high, maybe academic, but as it comes in around midnight. Here's your first warning, WTKR News 370 forecast. So if you're looking for a warm day, look no further than today and Friday, because we did hit 69 today, 66 Friday. Then we get cooler. I do have us back into the 20s. Again, some drops and flakes may be found in a few spots based on what I'm seeing today. Anything you see, if it's clickbait, please avoid it. I can tell you that some of the GFS modeling was putting out crazy numbers. I mean, crazy like 4 to 8. I saw 10. I saw 12 or more. It's a bit nonsensical. I hopefully people have learned their lesson that you don't hang your hat on a forecast that's 4.5, 5 days away and think that it's going to come to pass, because it won't. It won't. So we'll stick with a few isolated drops of flakes, cool sunshine, and this is going to be a really bright day Tuesday. Tuesday looks really nice, but I do anticipate by Wednesday we'll start to cloud back up the second half of the day. How about this from Newport News this morning? Charles, thank you for sharing this with us. We have a Facebook group called the WTKR Photographers Group page. We love it, and they share great pictures. Some post quite frequently, some only ever so often. Michael shot this, I believe, a little while ago from Virginia Beach evening, a couple days ago maybe, with these high, thin cirrus clouds. Those are ice crystals, by the way. Anytime you get 25, 30, 35,000 feet on up, you'll see some nice refraction in the colors. Beautiful picture there. And last Friday's sunset in Hampton, by the marina there, Bradley Fullwood, capturing that picture for us as well. So again, just wanting to show you where the radar is now as I sign off here. It's about 8:18 on a Wednesday night. Tomorrow night we're going to have some pizza winners, so I hope you'll stay tuned for that. But temperatures, just dress for the upper 40s tomorrow. I mean, it's academic that we're in the 50s, but we'll finish the afternoon generally in the upper 40s, and then we're warming back up to 66 come Friday afternoon. If you haven't heard about the Pozzoli, I hope you'll try it. Something what's great about Marco's, some people have never tried Marco's. This was the first thing I ever tried. I really, kind of locked on to it because it felt really so much bigger than it looks in the picture. But it's kind of like a calzone or a stromboli. Stromboli might be the better analogy of it, but there are 4 types. The pepperoni and sausage is my favorite. Chicken, bacon, ranch, buffalo chicken, or just the pepperoni. But be sure that you pair it with one of the dipping sauces that they will provide, but you can ask for them. Maybe you want ranch. Maybe you want the marinara or pizza cup or the garlic. garlic sauce that you typically can dip usually with a pizza, you might prefer a multitude of dipping sauces, but it really is tasty. If you use the promo code WTKR David, our friends at Marco's are willing to offer it at that price to our First Morning Live viewers, so that means your families are eligible. Everybody can share it, that promo code. But the 6 locations are on the screen. There are 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk, all with the 757 phone number. I am happy to report that we are on schedule to announce the winners tomorrow. We're going to be giving away 10 individual pizzas. I know that's kind of amazing because some people are like, I've never had Marco's. Maybe I'd like to try it. Well, that's the beautiful thing. We'll dish out, yay, 10 individual pizzas. That's tomorrow. And then one person will get 12 pizzas. And I think that's kind of cool too, because the 12 will be spaced out every month for a year. One topping on all of these pizzas, so you can decide whether you want green pepper, you want mushroom, you want pepperoni or sausage. You get one topping, even with the single pies that we'll be giving away tomorrow. Happy about that, and I'm very excited. If you haven't signed up, this is what the pizza for a year certificate looks like. That'll go out the door tomorrow, but Marcos.com. So many things on their menu too that maybe you didn't even know they sell, like pizza, pizzolis, pizza bowls. They even have gluten-friendly cauliflower crust. So if you are gluten sensitive, you might try that option as well. And I think I've told you before, they also have some great options in the submarine category. I'm talking about subs, like a steak and cheese, a chicken club, Italiano sub. I just had the other day the delicious Cinesquares with chocolate. I mean, it was fantastic. So if you really want to go all in on the desserts, they got that too. So check it out. Cinesquares are great, but if you can throw some chocolate on it, I think that's even better, but that's just me. You might have a different opinion on that. That's fine too. So happy that you're here. Just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or serious. It doesn't matter if it's sunny and rainy, because really tomorrow it's just clouds and rain at times. Just remember that every day that we're given is a gift. Every day. You can't change yesterday. You certainly can't change today, because I do know it's dark, but you can change tomorrow. And you can be a better neighbor in your neighborhood, which probably was there before you and I got here and will be there after we're gone. So why not make it a special place and make it a better place? All right, we'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.